enough, all the clear points? Okay, let us begin now with our pranam mantra. We are going to see the topic of how Arjuna wins the Swayambhara of Draupadi today. Okay, let me start the slideshow. Okay, perfect. So let us all begin with our pranam mantras. You can all sing this along with me. On mute. Oh, Magna, you all can be on mute and then sing along with me.
Om Anjana
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to begin now so that it doesn't become chaotic. You all can sing on mute with me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, let's move on. We're going to start with Subhashita, which is a small shloka here. Let me first read it and then explain what it means. Videsheshu dhanam vidya vyasaneshu dhanam matihi paraloke dhanam dharmaha shilam sarvatra vaidhanam. We do see a lot of words with dhanam, dhanam, dhanam. Here, dhanam means wealth. We're going to see what wealth is in different circumstances or places. Okay, so the first one says, Vidasheshu dhanam vidya. When you are in a foreign country, your knowledge is wealth. Right? When so many people, we are all from Indian background. So when we come to different land, when we come to the US, for us, our culture, the knowledge that our parents have given us, the knowledge that we receive from our Vedic culture, that is wealth when we are in the foreign country. And in terms of when you are in adversity, one's intelligence is the wealth. So adversity is in a critical situation or when you are in a problem. Your intelligence only can help you overcome it. And in the netherworld, which means that whether in this, in a place where there are a lot of crimes and a lot of evil things happening, your righteousness is the wealth. Righteousness is to remain truthful to your conscience, to remain attached to dharma. That is the wealth in such places. And what is the wealth everywhere and at all times? One's character is wealth at all times and in all places. Because as you can see, in the end, we have a very famous quote here that if money is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. If character is lost, then everything is lost. Right? Everybody understands this, that, most important is character, and then comes health, and then comes money. But unfortunately, in today's world, everybody runs after money so much, and they even sacrifice their own health or sometimes even sacrifice their character to cheat and accumulate more and more money. So we have to understand here from this age that it is very important to have a very good character. And that is what is going to save us when in adversity, when in a different country or when in a different place, and especially with people who are not of a very good character around, your righteousness, your character is what will help you all the time. Okay. I see that Darsh has his hand raised. Is it for anything specific, or is it just that you started in the beginning that way? Let me try and unmute.
I was just asking a question. Like, can I ask a question?
Yes, Darsh.
When we do the crafts and all of those stuff, are we gonna be like drawing, or are we just gonna be like drawing on books?
Oh, the craft. The craft, you have to do it with the popsicle sticks. It's a craft that you will be doing physically. It's not just a drawing.
Like with the popsicle sticks?
Yes. Okay. Okay. So let's continue. Okay. So let's continue. So this Subhashita is very, very important. And this, we see that in Mahabharata also, all the Pandavas, they use
Nandini, can you unmute? Because I'm
oh, okay. Okay.
And you can mute me. Everyone. Yeah.
Okay. So we see that in the we see this quality even in the Pandavas, that they always maintain their character. Whether they lost their wealth, there are so many times when they lost their wealth, when they lost their when they are in problems, all or when they are associated with bad people, they always maintain their character everywhere. So that is why this is very important in terms of connecting with Mahabharata as well. Let's move on. I have a few questions here because today's topic is Draupadi Swayambhara. Okay. Who was Draupadi? Draupadi was Drupada's daughter, who is the king of Panchal. Now, Panchal is also called as Kampilya. They have two names for that country or that uh, place. Okay, so I have a few questions here. The first one is, what was the story behind the birth of Draupadi? I do. We have already seen a little bit from yesterday's class as well, but I would still like to hear from one of you what you understand. I saw Param raised his hand first, so I would like you to unmute and answer the question.
Mataji, the Draupadi, she got like 5 boons that she wanted one husband who had like Yudhishthir, who follows Dharma, and then she wanted a husband who was like the strongest Kshatriya, and
Yeah.
then he wanted a good archer like Arjuna, best
Mhm.
archer, and then uh
Now, for Nakul, I think it was she asked for a most beautiful person,
yeah,
like a handsome person. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then I forgot Saydeva.
Okay, yeah. She asked for a husband with all those different qualities that all the Pandavas had. Yes, that was
Yeah.
one part. And also, so anybody else wants to answer? Shri Harsha, do you want to answer?
Can I answer the first question?
You have a question?
Can I answer the first question?
Yes, first question.
So actually, Draupadi, she was So actually, Dronacharya and Drupada, they had some enmity, and then um Dronach I mean Drupada Maharaj, he did a sacrifice where he wanted a son to kill, who had the capacity to kill uh Dronacharya, and in that sacrifice, Draupadi also took birth.
Yeah, perfect. That's very nice explanation. Thank you, Shri Harsha. I also want to see if Shashi Varna. You want to answer any question? Oh, I saw.
Abu Shashi Varna character.
I thought Shashi Varna had raised hands, but okay. So, for the first question, okay, you all can.
Yeah, I was gonna answer.
Okay, you all can put your hands down for now because I'm just going to explain about the first question. Yeah, as Sri Harsha was explaining very nicely, that's the story behind the birth of Draupadi. That Draupadi took birth because of Drupada performing the sacrifice, and she was also so she is born from fire basically. And what the purpose of her birth, as Sri Harsha explained, is because she was taking birth along with Drishtadyumna, who was her brother, and Drishtadyumna was supposed to kill Dronacharya. That was why Drupada performed the sacrifice. Okay, perfect. Let's dig a little more deeper as we go further. The second question: who was Draupadi in her previous life? Who knows this?
Mataji.
Who is this? Who just said Mataji? What's your name? Okay, I'm going to ask one of you who have raised your hands to see if you can answer this question. Or you can just say what her name was. What was her name? Sukriti, do you want to answer this question?
Nalayani.
Nalayani, perfect. Yes. So, right, you are right, Sukriti. Thank you very much. Okay, how was Draupadi born? Prahlad and Raghav, you want to answer that?
She was born from a sacrificial fire.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of explanatory from the first question. She was born from the sacrificial fire, so she was in the color of fire. She was like so golden hue. Okay, so Draupadi was born from a sacrificial fire. Okay, so not only was Drupada performing this sacrifice for Drishyadyumna to be able to kill Dronacharya, but also he was having this point in mind that he had already faced defeat from Arjuna, right? When Dronacharya asked the Pandavas to defeat Drupada as a Guru Dakshina, as like a fee. That's how they used to collect fee. So when he went to capture Drupada, Drupada was so amazed with Arjuna's valor and his appearance that he wanted to get Arjuna as his son. But since he is already somebody else's son, he cannot get him as son. So he wanted him at least as a son-in-law. So he performed, when he was performing this sacrifice, he wanted to get a daughter who would be able to marry Arjuna. So when Draupadi was born, there was already a prediction by sage Yaja, who performed the sacrifice, that Draupadi will be able to marry Arjuna. That is what the prediction was. So he got her from sacrificial fire, and that's what the prediction was. Okay. So we saw from yesterday's story how Pandavas went and met Dhaumya to become their priest. And so they also heard about how Drupada was performing the sacrifice at Kampilya. And they wanted to also participate in that ceremony, the Swayambhara ceremony. So the Pandavas and Dhaumya, they set out on a journey to go to a road which goes towards Panchal or Kampilya. Okay. So on their way, they met a group of Brahmins, and the Brahmins were just suggesting, they thought that because the Pandavas were dressed as Brahmins, they thought that they were just regular Brahmins and they were just, they weren't aware of the Pandavas' identity. So they just suggested that, why don't we're all going to Drupada, we're all going to Kampilya. Who are you and where are you coming from? So then the Pandavas said, we are all brahmacharis who are coming along with our teacher from Ekachakra, because the previous place they were in was Ekachakra, right? So from Ekachakra, they've been moving here. So the Brahmins, they said, we are all attending Draupadi Swayamvara, which is happening at Kampilya. Do you want to attend? Do you also want to accompany us? If we go there, then we will get a lot of gifts and a lot of charity from the kings. Because the kings, when they perform such big ceremonies, they always give out in charity huge amounts. Okay, so that's their thinking. The Brahmins, they think that these people are also Brahmins and they would also like to receive all that. So that's why they suggested that. And then when they went to the Swayamvara ceremony, now the Swayamvara ceremony is like a big ceremony. Now, if, for example, if you go to a ceremony, there would be a lot of cultural activities, there would be a lot of food, any kind of festivity or any kind of party, these kind of things will be there, right? So, similarly, in the Swayamvara in those days, how the ceremony was conducted is dancers will be performing on one side, and there would be a lot of singers and dancers and a lot of artists, actors who would be entertaining the crowd. On one side there would be a lot of sacrificial fire happening, sacrifice happening, and also on other side there would be a lot of charity. The other side will have a lot of food and drinks and all that. So the Swayamvara would be celebrated in a very big way with a lot of festivities, and it will take place over a period of many days. It's not just a one day ceremony. It would happen for a long time. Okay. Now the Pandavas, they said, okay, when the Brahmins described all this, they said, okay, we will also go with you. They just wanted to not reveal their identity. They just wanted to behave like simple Brahmins, and they wanted to go along with the other Brahmins. So they all traveled together, and when they came to the outskirts of the city, they came to a small village. Now, in the village, they were going, walking from house to house and then begging. And, that's how the Brahmins used to live in those days. So they were doing that. But sometimes, as you can see, how the Pandavas took shelter in Ekrachakra Dham in one of the Brahmins' house, right? So those days, they used to accommodate the traveling Brahmins in their house. Like that, they also found an accommodation in one of the potter's house. The potter and his family was very warm to them. Now the Pandavas endeared everyone whom they saw on the way, which means that they were very loved by all the people whom they met. So they settled down in the potter's house, and they were served by the potter as well. So now, when they heard about uh, now this is the description of how King Drupada had set their task for Draupadi. Now, in those days, when Swayamvara was conducted, the fathers would sometimes set some very difficult tasks the for any person to be able to win the hand of their daughter. Can you give me an example of how this kind of setting was there in any other circumstance? Let me see. Somebody who hasn't answered. Daksha, would you like to answer this? Any other story, same kind of setting was there?
Hare Krishna Mataji, it was like when Rama was trying to win the hand of Sita Devi.
Yes, perfect.
So,
Thank you for that. Yeah, same kind of criteria. I mean, similar kind of criteria for Rama as well. That he had to lift the Shiva Dhanush and he had to string it in order to be able to win the hand of Sita.
It's like TG.
Yeah. So in those days, Swayamvara was set like that by many kings. And Draupadi Swayamvara was no less. It was a very difficult task that was set by King Drupada. I have it written down in a poetic way here. I would read that first and then I would explain. A small target on top of a small pole, rotating plate beneath with a small hole, an arrow to be shot when the target aligns the hole, an extraordinary heavy bow to be handled by a warrior in soul. Okay, so let's go line by line. So the first line says that a small target was placed on top of a small pole. Okay, so there was a pole and there was a target on the top. And beneath that was a rotating plate with a small hole. So the plate will keep on rotating in a very slow, at a very slow pace. But it had a small hole, and that small hole was exactly the width of the target that was set on the top. And so when the plate would keep rotating, the person who is supposed to shoot the arrow has to shoot the arrow exactly when the target aligns the hole. So when that hole comes just below the target, he has to hit at that time, so that it goes and hits the target at that point. So it has to go via the hole. So the hole has to align with the target. Okay. And not just that, the bow was so heavy that it could not be handled by any ordinary person. It had to be handled by an extraordinary warrior. So just lifting the bow itself was a very heavy thing. It was so heavy that it was a very difficult task just to lift the bow. And so when Arjuna heard about this criteria, he was very eager to try for the princess. So he prayed in his mind to Lord Krishna that he should have a chance to try for the princess. And then not only was he interested in the princess, it was also in those days very important for kings to have very good alliances with powerful other kings. Because when you have an alliance with another king, when the kingdom was in danger, that other king would come and help. So they wanted the alliance of the powerful Drupada. And that is another reason why the Pandavas was interested in the Swayambhara. So that, if one of them could win Draupadi, then they would have the alliance of powerful Drupada.
In here.
Now, the lavish preparations made by Drupada was for the Swayamvara ceremony was unbelievable because, as I said, one side there would be actors, dancers, singers, and all that. The other side, Drupada was giving so much of charity. It's not just one or two, like heaps of gold coins to the Brahmins who came for the Swayamvara. And not only that, the kings who came for the Swayamvara were also giving charity on their behalf because they wanted blessings to be able to win the Swayamvara ceremony. So, seeing all this, the Pandavas were very astonished to see how King Drupada was giving so much of charity and so much of preparations, sacrificial fire going, sacrifice performed on one side and entertainment on the other side, so much of food and drinks, best quality food and drinks, they were served in abundance. So they were all a lot of preparations, and you know it was made in a very um, lavish way. He did not think. Lavish means what? To not think about how much it is going to, um, how much of expenditure it is going to be. It is just, he was just giving out just like that. Okay, so that is what the preparations were like on food and drink side. Okay, so now I have a very interesting question for you all. Okay, as you can see, it is very okay. Before that, let me just clear this point. There are other versions as well where the target was supposed to be on the top, and there was a pond or a pool of water in the bottom, and that Arjuna had to also look at the target and then hit the target on the top. Look at the target in the water and then hit it on the top. There are versions like that, but we are sticking to what is followed here in Veda base.
Hi.
So let me just clarify that before anybody.
Hi.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so before anybody has a doubt, I wanted to clarify that. And now I have a question for you all. This target, hitting the target, seems like, next to impossible task, right? Because it was so difficult. First of all, there is the rotating plate. When something is moving, it is very difficult to aim at that spot. So that plate is always rotating. So you have to be so focused that you have to wait for the hole to align with the target. So that rotating hole itself is a very distracting thing. And on top of that, you also have to be expert to be able to hit that particular target. Now, you might have had a lot of tasks like this given at school or at any other places, and you might have been challenged like this, right? Which you think, oh my God, this is so difficult to do. So when you are faced with such difficult tasks, how would you take such a challenge first of all, and if so, how would you complete such a task? So I want you all to think and then answer this question, and I want you to elaborate what kind of a challenging task it was. So okay, let's go with Abhinav.
Yes, I would take up such a challenging task, and I can complete such a task by just focusing on that particular point, like how it's like moving, if it's coming on that like a focus point, so I can do that challenge.
Okay. Have you been faced with such a situation before, Abhinur?
No, not yet.
Okay. Why do you want to take up such a challenging task?
Just like for because I want to face that challenge, like to show that that I can do that, I know that thing.
Okay. Very good. First of all, it boosts your self confidence. And secondly, you would also definitely have some learning experience out of it. Okay. Great. Thank you, Abhinur. Let's move on to Dhruva. Dhruva, would you like to answer this? Think about any situation at school or at any other class or any other place that you go that you were faced with such a challenging task. If you have anything to share, I would like to also hear that. So please go ahead. Dhruva, I can't hear you. Are you talking? I saw your hand raised. Would you like to answer this question, Dhruva? Do you want me to come back to you? We'll come back to you later if you want. Okay, let's move on to Sriharsha. I still see your hand raised. Would you like to answer this or were you raising from previous question?
That was from the previous question, Raj.
Okay, no problem. How about Shashvika?
I want to take such a challenging task because I want to face a challenge.
You like to face challenges? Okay.
Yeah. And if it's, I want to take the point to make sure I complete it
Mm-hmm.
because I like to do some challenges.
Very nice. Very interesting point. When you take up any task in general, you always have to complete it. So I like your attitude, Shashvika, that you want to complete it, not just give up in between, right?
Finish what you start.
Yeah, finish what you start. Very good. So would you like to also say something, Shia? Right? Sia? Sia.
Yes, Mataji.
Mhm.
So I would take such a challenge because I want to learn something from the challenge, and then I want to do something new like a challenge, and then I would suggest myself to finish it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Very nice. Thank you. Very good points. Sia. Okay. Vikram and Vijay. Would you like to go next?
They don't know when we will do it.
You know what? It is actually me, VJ, who raised my hand, and the one time I was trying to draw around the circle, but I kept failing to. When finally I managed to do it.
Yeah. So you didn't give up and you
Yeah.
managed to finish it. Very nice. Thank you, Vijay, for sharing that. Okay. Kavya and Vishnu, do you want to go ahead and share?
Mataji, so I think I would take up such a challenging task, and if you complete that task,
What happened?
if you
Oh, you
complete
got muted?
that
Looks
task,
like you got
you might
muted.
get like a reward. And I have
Okay. Go ahead.
and I have like had like a lot of homework,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I completed that. If I didn't complete that task, it was like a really challenging homework. And then if I didn't complete that task, I would get a low grade. But if I complete that task, I would get a high grade. So that's what I was talking about, like a reward.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Balavinda, do you want to go ahead and share your thoughts?
Yeah. So I would take a challenging task because it's like kind of fun to face through a challenge. Like especially like puzzles and stuff like that. or like any like work at school, like if it's some like subject is hard, like, and I would want to finish it because I would want to see if I could do it, so that I would want to finish it. So yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Only if you give it a try, you will even understand how much you are capable of doing, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you may think you may not be able to do it, but sometimes you may be able to do it as well. So thank you for sharing that, Balavrinda. Okay, Sri Vaishnavi, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, Mataji. The reason I want to take up such a challenge is because I I want to see how much I want to see how much like I know, and I want to like kind of test myself and try to challenge myself. That's why.
Yeah, very nice. That enthusiasm is required, right? To learn and to go forward in life. Thank you. You all
Yes.
are very good spirited. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, Surya, go ahead.
So my mom said I need to do like a paragraph in 10 minutes, one paragraph. And then it was hard because I need to do knee handwriting. So yeah. And then I finished it. It was a
Very
challenge,
nice.
hard one.
Yeah, very nice. Every task is important in life. So no matter if it is handwriting or any other thing, as long as you master it in a very focused way, you'll be able to finish and master that art as well. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that, Surya. Okay, Prahlad and Raghav, do you guys want to share something?
Mataji, we would take up such a challenging tasks because it teaches us good learning experiences which you may need for later. And if I do have a task like that, I would actually look for breaking down the task into smaller pieces so I could focus on each small piece so I can finish the task easily.
Oh, very nice. Thank you, Prahlad. That seems like, a good plan to handle it. And so that it doesn't become overwhelming, so that you can work hard for it and achieve the end result. Does Raghav also want to say something?
So I will also take up such a task for learning experiences. So like next time I have another chance or task, I can remember what to do and learn from the like even if I do a mistake, I can still learn from it, and next time I can correct it for such a task.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you very much, Raghav. So Raghav is saying that, even though we may not be able to achieve the task, we will still have some learning experience that we could learn from our mistakes, and we would be able to face the next task better. So even if we go to a competition, if all of you participate in a competition, or if you go to a place where you think, there are a lot of good participants, there are a lot of good people who are good at the subject or good at that quiz or something, and it's kind of hopeless for me to be able to win this competition. But still, when you go and participate, you would learn something from the experience that would help you in the next task in future. So you should always be ready to face all these experiences and take all these challenges. Very nice. Thank you very much. You're all giving very nice points. Ram, do you want to share?
Uh, yeah. If I got such a challenging task, I would take it. Because like what everyone said, if you break it into pieces, it might become easier for you to learn what it looks like or something.
Okay, very nice. Thank you for sharing that, Ram. Moksha and Tanvi, do you want to go next? Are you able to unmute? I'm sorry. I think it got unmuted and muted again.
Mataji,
Yes, Mataji. So I want to improve myself because in the future, you will be doing hard things. So I improve myself.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Param, do you want to say something?
Yeah, yes, Mataji. I because I would want to take this because like I can know like what I need what like things to do. So like how you describing it like with the pull. First you like break it in like steps like everyone said. Like first like do it with just the target, then put it on the pole. That's the second step, and then go like through like that. So then you know like you're getting used to like by step, and if you need it anytime, so you can.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that, Param. Shreya, would you like to go next?
I would take up such a challenging task because if you like get a mistake, you can learn from it, and in the future, if you have like another task, you can complete it.
Very nice. Very nicely put forward. Okay, thank you, Shreya. Anaisha, would you like to go next?
Yeah, once I actually had a challenging task. So once my mom told me to write one paragraph in cursive writing. I know some, but I don't know all of it. But the paragraph was long and hard, but I tried my best, even though it wasn't that neat, but I still tried.
Okay. We still have a lot of people who have raised hands, but we would have to move forward now. Sorry for that, kids, because we still have to, we just don't have a lot of time left. So thank you for sharing all your thoughts. We'll also have a discussion in the end. So those who did not get a chance will be able to speak then. So let's move on with the Swayambhara ceremony. Now, these kind of preparations and celebrations were going on for 15 days. Okay. And on the 16th day, Draupadi arrives with yellow silk garments and like glittering ornaments. And she is holding a plate which has the garland that she was going to put on the person who she was going to marry. And then she comes and sits near her father. And after all the princes saw Draupadi like this, they were like boasting to each other, I am very capable. I'm the only one who would be able to win Draupadi's hand. She is meant to be my wife. And people, all the kings and princesses, they were boasting to each other and they were like, standing up and showing their weapons and they were like boasting to each other like this. And then also, um, the gods from heaven, they all came in chariots, and the rishis and the sages were also um, placed themselves in the sky to be able to witness this incident because it was like a huge celebration, Draupadi's ceremony, the Swayamvara ceremony. Okay. Now, Drishtadumna, who was Draupadi's brother, he stood up and announced the names of all the princes and kings who were present uh, there to participate in the ceremony. And he also described the criteria to win Draupadi's hand. And he says that one who would be able to hit the target is the one who would be able to marry Draupadi. Now, Drupada, he ordered the priest to begin the sacrificial fire, and he's glancing at all the kings and princesses who were assembled. And when he saw them, he was not satisfied. He didn't think that anybody who was present there amongst the kings and princes, they were even suitable to marry Draupadi, because he had designed this test with Arjuna in mind because of the sage Yaja's prediction. And he was hoping that somehow Pandavas would come there. So now, one by one, all the kings, they came forward and they started trying to lift the bow and trying to string it and all that. So it was, first of all, a very difficult task to even lift the bow. The bow was so heavy. So even if they managed to lift the bow, when they were trying to string the bow would bend a little and then it will throw them off onto the other side and they would fall to the ground and get bruised, and their crowns would fall to the ground and all their ornaments would be scattered. So it was a very embarrassing situation for all of those kings. They were getting very hurt by the bow. So one by one, all the kings were trying. And Karna, he actually came with a lot of confidence and a lot of um, good, his bodily strength and everything. When he came, walked confidently like that, even the Pandavas thought that, Draupadi would be won by him. So he was walking towards the bow, but what happened is Draupadi stood up and spoke in a loud voice. She said, I would not like to marry a person who is a charioteer's son. Because, Karna, although he took birth from Kunti, but nobody knew that. Even he himself did not know because he was raised by a charioteer. So he was known as a charioteer's son. So she said that she didn't want to marry Karna. But now he was very upset, but he just blushed and laughed
Mataji,
and he left. Yes? Who was that? Anaisha?
That was not me.
Oh, okay. You get a chance to speak in the end. So uh, just hold on to your question. So when Karna came, Draupadi said like that. So he had to return back to his seat. Next, the king of Chedi, Shishupala, came and tried, but again he was thrown to the ground. And there were many other kings like Jarasandha and other kings also who tried, but everybody was thrown out. And Duryodhana also tried. He came. He was even able to string the bow onto the string the bow and then place the arrow onto the bow. He even aimed at the target. But what happened is when he shooted, he shooted at the right time when the hole aligned with the target, but he missed the target by a hair's breadth, it seems. Now, again, that was not
what
a success.
Mataji? What did you say?
Duryodhana, he aimed at the target. He almost shot the target, but he missed the target by a hair's breadth. Very small distance, he missed the target. So he was very upset and he had to return back and he sat on his seat after this. Now, Arjuna, after all the kings tried, now it was the turn of Brahmins because, Brahmins would also have a turn after all the kings and princesses. So Arjuna looked at Dhaumya like in a mood of taking permission, and then he went forward to try for it. Now all the elderly Brahmins who were present there, they were like, they were trying to stop him because they thought that they said that this child is trying to attempt this out of childish vanity. That means that actually he might not be able to do it, but he's just trying to show off, or he's just trying to prove that he can do something that is not even possible by kings or kshatriyas. And so if he did not succeed, then it will be like a ridiculing to the Brahmins, right? So they didn't want that to face that insult because they thought that he was representing all the Brahmins who were present there. But other Brahmins, they were looking at his bodily strength and his might, and they thought that he might succeed. So they even gave examples of how sometimes some Brahmins, like Parashurama, he destroyed the entire Kshatriyas kings present in the world at that time. And also Sage Agastya, he drank the ocean fully. So sometimes, even though Brahmins might not have physical strength and power, they still have a lot of spiritual strength. So they might be able to achieve even tasks that is not possible by people who have good strength. So they said that maybe he might be able to succeed, so don't stop him. So Arjuna goes forward, and then again he bows down before Drupada, gets permission from him, and then walks respectfully around the bow 3 times. Now he lifted the bow and strung it in very few moments, and then he placed a golden arrow on the string. Then, with a lot of focus, he knelt and aimed upwards at the target. When he released the arrow, it struck the target in its center. Now, when everybody saw, they were like awestruck. How is this possible? Is it really true? On one side, there were a lot of drums, trumpets, and conches that were blowing. On the other side, the demigods were showering flowers on Arjuna in order to congratulate him. And Drupada was like amazed. He's like, when he saw this, he was like, it was so mysterious because even Kshatriyas were not able to do it. How did Brahmin was able to do it? Who was this mysterious Brahmin? First of all, Drupada had in mind, could it actually be Arjuna? And all the other kings or monarchs present there, they became agitated because How is it possible? They all were insulted, right? Because they were even thrown to the ground and their bodies got bruised and all that. So they were very agitated. And then Draupadi accepted accepted the Brahmin who hit the target, which was Arjuna, because Drupada showed her signs to go forward and garland him. And immediately after their wedding, Yudhishthira decided to leave and walk out because he wanted to be very sober and humble because they were acting as Brahmins. They were in the robes of Brahmins. So they just wanted to, uh, not further delay. And Arjuna followed Yudhishthira and Draupadi also followed them. So they were about to leave. But just then what happened was all the kings, they started ridiculing Drupada. They said this Drupada had called us just to insult us, just to prove us that we are not capable of winning the hand of Draupadi. Or he purposely kept a very difficult task so that all of us would be insulted. So he called us just to insult us. That's how they started talking. And so they took up all their weapons, they stood up, and they were ready to attack Drupada. But Drupada backed out in fear because he was not ready for all this fight and combat. So he backed out. And at that point, when Yudhishthira saw that, he ordered Bhima and Arjuna to defend, to fight on behalf of Drupada, because now Drupada became their father-in-law, right? After Arjuna married Draupadi. So they wanted to defend Drupada. So he asks Bhima and Arjuna. Now Bhima uprooted a big tree. And Arjuna already had that bow and arrow that he had used to win the task. So they started, defending, and they came forward and they started fighting. Now Karna was the main person, although he felt that it's not right for them to fight with Brahmins, but because the situation demanded, he also wanted to fight. So Arjuna was fighting with Karna, and Bhima was fighting with the king of Madras, which is Shalya. Okay, so they were fighting on one side, very very intense. And Duryodhana and other kings, they were like lightly contending with other Brahmins. They were fighting with the other Brahmins who were present there. The Brahmins were also wanting to support because they were still thinking that Bhima and Arjuna were Brahmins. But after fighting for quite some time, Karna was so surprised with Arjuna's valor, and he addresses in a loud voice and says, he praises Arjuna, and he said, how is it possible that, you're being a Brahmin and you're fighting so well? So he asked, who are you, first of all? And then all the kings, they were like discussing amongst each other, how can, Karna and people like Shalya be fought by Brahmins? I don't think these people are even Brahmins. Let us first sit and ask, because even Arjuna or Duryodhana would not be able, only Arjuna or Drona would be able to fight with Karna. So who is this person who is fighting? They were all very surprised. So they thought it's not good to continue. Let us first ask who they are, because it's not good to fight with Brahmins like this. And when they were like, discussing like this, Krishna, who was present there, he saw that they were a little malleable. They could be convinced. So he comes forward and he convinces them and says that it is not good to fight further and blight the sacred ceremony with bloodshed. We are not here to fight and have a bloodshed here, because we are here for a specific ceremony, and the Swayambhara was already won by that Brahmin. So let's not make it a big issue. Now, when the Pandavas arrived, Krishna and Balram already knew that they were Pandavas, because at that point, not everybody knew that they were alive, because everybody has been thinking that they've been burnt in the fire of Varnavat. Okay, so this is the lessons learned that I collect.
Can I do the break room? And then you can discuss whoever kids is desired to.
Yes, yes, Mataji,
It's
please.
small kids. I will open the room. You can all join. Okay. You can do some rhyme and something.
So these are the lessons that I have collected from the chapter. That the first one is be humble and tolerant in order to achieve success in life, because that's what the Pandavas did. They were not, even when Drupada was offering all the charity, they did not go forward to take that gold coins and everything. They were just simple and they were very humble wherever they went. That is why they were able to live even in the forest, and they were also able to live in the kingdom. So we should always be humble and tolerant. See, they didn't go forward first. Arjuna did not go for the task first. He let others go first, and then he went in the end. So they were always very humble, and they were inside their heart. They were always praying to the Supreme Lord, which is Krishna. So they were able to achieve whatever they wanted to. And in this case, it was Draupadi's hand. Okay, and not that just by one attempt one would be able to achieve such a difficult task. If you see from childhood, Arjuna was a very hardworking archer. He saw once that Bhima was so expert in eating food, even in the dark. So he took inspiration from Bhima, and he said, if my brother could eat in the dark without even a streak of light, he is able to take food and put it correctly into his mouth. Why wouldn't I be able to shoot targets in the night? So he used to practice at night in the dark. He used to
Mataji,
practice his bow and arrow.
Mataji,
Yes.
there was one more story on this. Like one day he was eating, and then the wind blowed out the lamp, and he continued to eat, and then he got an idea, and then he said, if I am able to eat in the dark, I would also be able to shoot in the dark.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you for sharing that. So that's how he got inspired, and he practiced very well. Not just that by one day's work he became such a good archer. To be able to shoot the target when the hole aligns with the target is a very difficult task. And he was able to achieve it with practice, and also because he was a very nice devotee of Krishna. So, with a lot of hard work, and if you're very focused in what you want to achieve, you can achieve even the most difficult task, right? And the third thing, from the other king's point of view, that we learn is do not judge anybody with your external appearance. Don't think that these people are just Brahmins. How they would be able to do all this? How they are able to fight? No, this is not possible. Don't judge anybody, because we don't know what capacity each one has. Just by external appearance, we should not judge people like that. Okay. The other one that I have here is do not take a decision personally as an insult against you, rather than learn to appreciate it. See, when the Brahmin won the target, that is when Arjuna won it, other kings, they thought that Drupada had invited them just to insult them. So when they did not win, they thought it was an insult. But that's not right attitude, right? The right attitude is that you have to see it uh, as a particular everything has something good, right? So we should learn to appreciate it rather than be jealous or take it as an insult. Okay. So these people were so envious at that point, that how come we were not able to do it, and so just a simple Brahmin was able to shoot the target. But what happens? Envy, is it good for us? No, right? Envy can cloud our judgment, which means that when we are envious, even though the other person did not do anything on purpose, or even though the other person did not intend any harm, we tend to think that the other person is trying to harm us, right? And it will lead us to commit immoral acts. Like in this example, it was not at all required for the kings to fight with the Brahmins or to fight with Drupada, but they all got so agitated because of being envious that they did all that. And envy can sometimes go to such an extent that it can even destroy us. Like how Shishupala was so envious of Krishna and he finally had to die, like that. And then from Krishna's behavior in the end, what we learn is that when a person is gentle and polite, you can achieve any task just by sweet words and gentle words. Everything doesn't need to be handled with harsh or violent treatments. So even gentle and polite words can even move a mountain, but harsh and aggressive acts cannot even blow a feather. So we should learn to talk very nicely and explain the situation. It is not needed that you have to be all the time passive, but when the situation comes, we can always talk it out in a very, very nice and gentle way, rather than taking up a violent behavior or an aggressive behavior. Okay. Does anybody want to share any thoughts? Let's go on. Let's go to people who did not get a chance before. We have a very interesting craft after this as well. But I would like to hear from you guys. If you had any lessons that you thought you could gather from this, you could go ahead and share as well. You can raise your hands so I can call your names. Moksha and Tanvi, go ahead first. Okay, there's one more thing that I wanted to share before we move on. That, as I said, the kings were not able to accept this as a challenge. They thought that it was an insult. But acceptance is very, very important. That we should accept that we would never be perfect at all times, and we will always have challenges, and other people will disappoint by winning and you losing sometimes. So acceptance is the first step towards peace. If you start fighting, then there would not be any peace in the world. I wanted to also add that. Yes, Moksha and Tanvi, go ahead, please. Are you able to unmute? Okay, let's go ahead with Aradhya.
We should never give up.
Yes, perfect. That's a very good lesson. Never give up, because everybody gave it a try, right? Although it seemed like an impossible task, but everybody gave it a try. So that's something that we can definitely learn from this. Thank you for sharing that, Aradhya. Param?
Mataji, I really like the point that you said acceptance, because like in the other classes, like I remember like they were talking about acceptance, because like with acceptance you can't move on, and I really like that point.
Yeah.
You can't move on
Thank you for
without
sharing that. Yes, thank you, Param. Because when somebody sometimes when they face defeat, they're just stuck in that point. They are not able to accept and they are not able to move on. So thank you for sharing that, Param. That we should move on. Very nice. Shri Harsha, go ahead, please.
Actually, one lesson we could learn is that we always have to first not like start a fight. First investigate before we start fighting.
Very nice. Thank you, Shri Harsha, for sharing that. You all seem to have a lot of nice points. So immediately don't jump into fighting. First of all, analyze. Is it required? That's what Krishna also did, right? In Mahabharata, he tried to postpone the war as much as possible. He tried to first talk it out. And he tried to first find out what is the best solution. And then only when it was inevitable, they went in for the war. So thank you for sharing that, Sri Harsha. Sri Vallabha, do you want to share anything?
Yes,
Yes, go ahead, please.
we should be always confident and think positive, not discouraged to be reaching target.
Yeah, very nice. You should not be discouraged to reach your target, right? You should always be facing it with a lot of confidence. And thank you for sharing that, Sri Vallabha. Okay. Anybody else who wants to share? Okay, I do see Moksha and Tanvi. Do you still want to go ahead and share your point? Okay, if not, we will move ahead. As I said, in one of the important lessons that we learn is to be humble and tolerant. Okay, Arya, go ahead, please. Arya, do you want to share something?
I was in the group, and then I
Other
just
group?
came in this group.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I was saying that this is one of the
Do you
important
want to go to the other group? Whoever came here, if you want to go to the other group, let me know. Sorry, Bataji, please continue.
Yeah, no problem. So when Arjuna won the Swayambhara, the other proud kings got angry and started a fight. But they could not change the situation, right? They had to face it. We have to accept that this is what happened, and Arjuna won the Swayambhara. Now, when anger grows, when there is no understanding, when there is understanding, then there is no question of anger, right? You accept and you go forward. And so it is very important to be very humble and tolerant. That is how Arjuna was able to win the situation, but the other kings were not, because they were boasting, right? As soon as they saw Draupadi, they were boasting to each other that only I will be able to win. So that humility is very, very important to be able to win any situation. And in Sri Shashtakam, which is a set of 8 prayers composed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one of the shlokas says, Trinadapi Shunichena, Tarorapi Saheshnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. That means that one who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor yet, is always prepared to give all respect to others and can very easily chant the holy names of the Lord. So that humility is required in all tasks. Then only you'll be able to succeed. I have a very short story about a proud Pandit. There was once a Pandit who was traveling across the Ganges in a boat. So there was a boatman who were riding, and there were 2 other fellow passengers. So this Pandit talks to this fellow passengers just to while away the time, and he says, who are you and where have you come from? So one of the persons says, I'm a farmer from a village on the other side. So he wants to boast off now. He wants to show how much he knows. So he says, I'm a scholar. And so I study Upanishads. Have you read it any time? And then the other person says, no, sir, I haven't read it. So then the Pandit goes and he says, you poor fellow, half of your life has been wasted. A quarter of your life has been wasted. And then, so then he goes on and he says, well, you must have at least read the Shastras then, right? But then the other person says, no, sir, I can't say that I have read it. Then the Pandit goes ahead and again ridicules them and says, then half of your life is gone. It's wasted. What about the 6 systems of philosophy? And then the other 2 people, they say, no, I have not read it. So then he says that, 75% of your life is wasted. And then there is a big storm at that time. There is rain, and then the boat is going out of control. The boatman is not able to control it. So he says to the passengers, jump out of the boat and swim back to the shore to save your life. Now, these 2 people are asking out of concern, I hope you know how to swim, sir. So then he says, no, I have never known how to swim in my life. Then the other 2 people, they jump out of the boat and say, never known swimming? Then your whole life is gone. So it is very important to be very humble. It's not a good thing to keep boasting because, when you're humble, you naturally attract people. They will come and help you in the time of need as well. So the model is that Krishna punishes proud people through his external potency. Okay. I hope everyone is back so that we can start the craft.
Mataji, they are not yet back, Mataji.
Oh, they're not yet back?
I can info her that you are done.
Okay.
You can still ask if somebody has a question, last minute question. Yeah.
What do we need for the craft?
I already sent the ingredients, the list of items that we need for the craft. So we will start the activity very soon. I can probably play the video when everybody's ready.
Nandini, could you post the materials in the chat box? Because I'm on a different computer. The book is not in that computer.
Raji?
Mati, Saroja, Nandini, Mataji, they are coming back. You can start anytime, okay?
Mataji?
She's not coming. Your sound is mute. Unmute. Okay. One second, I think.
Mataji.
Now maybe you can hear. Okay.
Mataji,
Can you?
Mataji,
Yes?
Yeah.
I don't have a big popsicle stick.
You don't have a big popsicle sticks? What about small? Do you have small ones?
Yes.
Okay. We can still make it work out. We can work it out, okay?
Okay.
With small. I was thinking if you had the big one, but even otherwise, you can still go ahead and do that.
Madhuri, I don't
Did
have
you
popsicle
already
sticks, so
started?
can I go?
going to start?
Can you do it home?
Yes.
Can I do after class, Madhuri?
Yes.
When are we going to start?
Yes, we're going to start. I'm going to go ahead and play the video.
Wait.
Miss Mataji,
Yes.
which kind of craft is it?
This is just a small craft, building a house out of popsicle sticks craft. I'm trying to go ahead and play the video.
Oh, Mataji, I don't have like straight popsicles. I have curved popsicles.
Curved.
Yeah.
I don't know if curved will work because it's going to be like straight lines that we are using to build the home. This is basically to represent a home that was that is to convey the message that Srila Prabhupada built a home for us in every place that we can go possibly on earth.
Just someone asked to post the list of the items. So I did post it in the chat
Thank
box.
you, Mataji. So the
Yeah.
list of items is already posted by Vinita Gandharvika Mataji.
Yes.
We're going to start very soon. Okay. I will go ahead and share my screen so you can see the video once.
He would not be able to attend us. Katie, wow.
Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and start.
Craft
We're using tools because I have tools. These are good tools. Mataji, I can't hear. I cannot hear it. Same. Same. Me too. Same.
When you are sharing, you have to select the share computer
Yeah.
sound.
Me three.
To the right hand side, it will be there, Mataji. In the Zoom, when you are sharing the screen, to the right hand side, there will be two options. Share the screen,
If
share
you
the
don't have
computer
to
sound.
twist, can we leave? 10, 11, 12,
You can watch if you have a time.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have a birthday party.
You can go and enjoy your birthday party. Thank you for joining.
Well, I'll just wait here because the birthday party is at like 6. I got it. I got it.
That's fine. You can stay back. That's okay. Thank
I'll
you.
just count. You take it, okay? 10. You don't count. 12. You can count in your mind. 3. Was that 3, right? 16, 18, 16. I can't hear it. Here.
Yeah.
I can't hear it.
One second, I will mute everyone.
I definitely cannot hear it.
Madhavi, we cannot hear you. Maybe I'll unmute you and then maybe.
I can't hear you. I cannot hear it.
Are you still not able to hear?
Yes,
We can
Mataji.
hear you, but
Yes,
the
Mataji.
video is not.
When you kept the video was breaking. I can see the video.
Okay, I'm trying to connect.
Eh, Bapur Balan. Ah. Kids, at least you can start coloring your popsicle, okay? Till the Mataji find this video. Color the popsicle stick.
Hare Krishna Mataji Janbar Pranam. Mataji, you can also explain through your mouth, Mataji. It's gonna be faster if the video is not having.
Okay, maybe
Mataji.
voice is still not coming, Mataji. Voice is coming, but in the video it's not coming properly. Maybe that YouTube video, Mataji, you made a YouTube video for Mataji. Can you go and share the YouTube video, Mataji?
Yeah, Mataji, definitely.
Yeah, YouTube video, maybe it will come. Mataji, Saroja, Nandini, Mataji, she will share the YouTube video. It's not coming.
Yeah, sure, Mataji, definitely I will replace the current sharing. Share the computer sound.
Till that time, Mataji, you can explain. Maybe they can call out the popsicle.
Hare Krishna to everyone. Today we're going to make a project which is a home that represents the
Here,
home
Mataji.
that Srila Prabhupada built for us
Yes, Mataji, we can
the
hear that.
entire world by establishing different temples. We're going to use popsicle sticks mainly to build the home, to represent the home. I have two different sizes here. One which is a broader, smaller size, and the other one is a little bigger size. I just need one or two of those. And we're gonna start with a cardboard box or cardboard sheet as a base. And you can arrange the sticks. I'm gonna arrange the sticks first of all to show how it would look so that we can cut the cardboard in that size. Okay, so we're gonna arrange the popsicle sticks one after the other, a little higher, one a little above the other, and then I'm gonna arrange 4 sticks like that, and then the 5th one I'm gonna have 2 sticks which is in the same position, same height, and then again I'm gonna come down this side in a descending order, and it exactly matches the other side and it's symmetrical with the other side. So this is a total of 10 sticks. We're going to use the bigger one as the base of the home here. And then we have 2 sticks, just a regular size as the sides together. So this is how our home will look. Write some code inside. I'm going to show you the different options that we can write. But first of all, we're going to make it. First step is to cut the cardboard, and then the second step is to color the popsicle sticks into different colors. So first of all, I want you all to draw a border, and then so that it'll be easier to cut that way. I'm making a border with a pencil here, just a light background, and we're going to cut inside so that the cardboard box is not shown when we stick the popsicle sticks. Okay, so I made a background here, and I'm just cutting it a little bit inside so that it will not be shown. Okay, so we do have the cardboard sheet here. here. This is the size that I cut it into. This is not exactly the size of the home that we're gonna make because we don't want the cardboard sheet to be shown in the front side. It is only in the background. So I'm gonna try and see if I can arrange the popsicle sticks so that you get an idea of how it would look in the end. Just a final look. So the middle two sticks are in the same position, as I said before. Alright, so this is the 10 sticks. This is the base stick for the home. And this is going to be the side. So this is how our home will look in the end. So as you can see here, you can't see any of the background. Okay, so the next step, step 2, would be to start coloring the popsicle stick so that we have a colorful home. I do have some base colors here. You can use whatever colors you want. I'm just going to start by coloring red onto the popsicle stick. Sometimes you do even get colored sticks in stores, so you could get that as well if you want. But the criteria is that the sticks have to be broad, not the thin popsicle sticks. That wouldn't work, because when we write on top of the sticks, then it would be easier to write on broader sticks. So this is how I have colored the red. You can color the sides as well, so that it'll be uniform and it'll not be shown out. Okay, so we have all the colored sticks here. I have colored it into different colors here. We're gonna use the glue to paste all these sticks onto the cardboard box. You could also use watercolors to paint the popsicle sticks, but I found it easier to do it with the markers, the washable markers as well. So that's why I have this option here. Okay, now we're moving on to pasting the sticks onto the cardboard box. It'll be much easier to put it onto the cardboard box rather than to put the glue onto the popsicle sticks. Okay, so we're gonna use, now we're gonna glue all the popsicle sticks. I'm doing this border. I have purple in the end, and then I have red, yellow, and then the red. It doesn't have to be this colorful, but I just liked it to be colorful, so I did it. You could even choose 1 or 2 colors as contrast. That will also look good. And for the base and for the roof sides, I'm going to place the glue on directly to the popsicle stick. When you place the base, make sure that a teeny bit of the center sticks are also shown, so that way it looks good. Just pressing it a little harder to make it stick on to each other. And these are the sides. As you can see here, I didn't color the other side. You don't have to color. I just colored the sides of the sticks to make sure that the white portions are not shown. So that way you can save some time coloring. placing this here. Now it would be more sturdy if you use a glue gun to place the roof sticks on the top, because one goes on top of the other, but we can still make it work with regular glue as well. Okay. Now you can use different coats that you may want to write inside. We're gonna leave it to dry for some time and then we have to write the code. But these are some of the codes that I have here, where I say Srila Prabhupada built a home in which the whole world can live. The second one I have here is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And the third one I have here is simple living, high thinking. So you can choose any of these, or you could also write your own. Just make it creative. So we're gonna leave it for a few minutes to dry so that it becomes a little more sturdy. All right, so here we have our finished project with the coat inside. I've chosen to write Srila Prabhupada built a home in which the whole world can live. So this is how it has turned out. If you want, you can write the entire thing in a light background so that the font will be visible. And the other two parts remaining is to create a bow. We're gonna place the bow on top of the home so that it looks a little more fancy and colorful. And then we also have to tie a string at the back so that you can hang. It's a wall hanging typically. So the way you make the bow is, first of all, you make a knot. I'm just taking a small piece of ribbon like this, and then I'm making a knot in the middle. Just tie a regular bow, two sides, and then knot it around. Okay, so we'll keep our bow aside for a second right now. First, we'll have to tie the string on the back so that it's a perfect wall hanging. What I've done here is I've taken a popsicle stick and tied a string on two sides so that you can hold this to hang it, and it'll be easier to stick the popsicle stick on here rather than just glue the string on here. So I've tied the string. Now I'm going to place some glue on the entire popsicle stick so that it holds it, especially a little more on the strings. Place it here to finish our perfect wall hanging. Make sure the stick doesn't come out on the sides and not be visible on the front side. Make sure you centralize it. I'm gonna leave this to dry for a second, and then after that we're also gonna place the string, the bow. So for the bow, it's again simple. You just place a little bit of glue in the center, and then just make this stick a little harder. Just press it a little bit. Okay, we're gonna leave this to dry for another few minutes, and then we'll see how the final outcome is. So this is the final outcome of our project. Hope you enjoyed doing this project along with me today. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. So kids, thank you. One second.
Hare Krishna.
And ask if any questions regarding the
Yes.
class.
So thank you very much. Sorry we got a bit delayed because of the glitch in the playing the video. But if you have any questions, you can quickly ask. Make sure to complete the draft and send it on the group so that we all can see your wonderful work. Now you can go ahead with any questions that you have. I see Moksha and Tanvi still raising hands. I don't know if it was from previous, but if you want to ask, you can unmute and ask questions. Okay, let's go ahead and Sri Harsha.
Can we leave?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again, Sri Harsha?
Hare.
It's another thing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Sri Harsha.
So, Mataji, can I like modify the thing and then like use my creativity?
Yes. So when I say you can use other decorative items, you could probably place glitter or something on the sides of the roof or something, so that you can also improvise or make it your own way. You don't have to exactly follow, but this is just the base model that I did.
No, I'm
So
saying like modify the base.
modify the base.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. I mean, you still want to make a house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and be creative. Of course.
Like a 3D model.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, Dash, go ahead. What's your question? Dash? Did you have a question, Dash?
The next time we do a project, will we like do something more than a house, like bigger than a house? And much like harder?
Yeah, we could definitely try that, but with the time constraints and with the number of kids, it would be easier to stick with a simpler, because there are a lot of other age groups like smaller kids and bigger kids. So um, I hope you enjoy doing this. But don't forget to send it on the group as well when you finish the project. I would love to see all of your wonderful projects.
Okay.
Okay, Jaya Radha, do you have a question for me? No?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, I have Samarth. Is it Samarth who's speaking?
Yes. Ma'am, can we do this after class?
Yes.
Mataji, Jai Radha already
Mataji?
made it. Jai Radha, show it.
You.
Jai Radha, show it.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful, Jai Radha.
That's nice. Very nice. You also made it like a rainbow. Very nice. Very beautiful.
How much time did you take it, Jai Radha, to finish it?
Janavi, Mataji, Janavi also, it seems she already made. Janavi, can you show yours? No. Janavi, you can making.
Very nice. Jayarada, don't forget to write the quote. I'll also send it on the group. Any ideas of quotes that you can write?
Mataji?
Yes.
Can we send any project to summer camp if we want?
What kind of project?
Well, I'm gonna make a project out of plates, so well, yeah. So can we send any project to summer camps?
We would appreciate if it is restricted to Krishna conscious projects, but because otherwise then there'll be a lot of things that everybody might want to share. We might not have the
You
time.
can send to one of our hosts if you would like to have that kind of projects. We will definitely project it later.
That's beautiful. That's
Thank you.
Mataji,
Mataji, you can send it to host Mataji if they want
Mataji,
it to send.
Janavi made.
Very
Janavi.
nice. Janavi, very colorful and very decorative. Very nice. That was a fancy home. Thank you very much for sharing that, Janavi.
Yes, I want to show. Yeah, I guess want to show.
Is anybody else ready to show? Does anybody want to show?
Yes, I want to show. Okay. Yeah, Keshav, go ahead. You want to show?
Keshav, I see that you colored your popsicle sticks. Very nice. Oh, nice. Please don't forget to send the completed craft. Anybody else? Any questions? Or should we conclude? Please, all the kids, please don't forget to finish the craft and send it in the group. Okay? Okay, so since we don't have any more questions, I think we can end here with our Vaishnava Pranam mantra. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील
Hare
प्रभुपाद।
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.